Hey there, my friends, it's Dave Wood again, and in yesterday's episode of the Daily Shortcut, I began a two-part series that's there to teach you 4 simple keys to optimizing and also multiplying and expanding your income online without doing any more work, just by adding systems in different parts of your business. As a quick review of yesterday, I taught you 2 out of 4 of the main strategies that I use for expanding your reach on a daily basis. Strategy number 1 is to create behavioral dynamic responses in your sales architecture. Basically, what I talked about in that episode is how to change your marketing based on the behavior of your list, and also to multiply your sales from the same traffic by simply changing the way you market to people who respond to you in different ways, just like a salesperson would change the way they sell to a different kind of a person, but you're doing it automatically. What I found is that every time I add a behavioral response that makes sense based on what the person is doing, it actually tends to increase sales. It doesn't every time, but it tends to most of the time in my own business. I also covered strategy number 2, which is split testing each part of your behavioral response sales process. Now, once you have a process in place, you can actually test different ideas, just try things out, and try marketing techniques that you're learning on each part of your process, such as changing an opt-in headline, testing a 2-step opt-in process versus a single step, or maybe testing different text or colors on a button. Every time you have something that works a little bit better than the last process, your income will actually expand beyond the increase in conversion of the single step that you just improved because of the concept that's called compounding. I'll talk about that more and train on it in a future free episode if you just opt into the page below. Let's get into strategies number 3 and number 4. Strategy number 3 is taking your content and moving the same content you make across increased communication modalities. What I mean by that is content is by far the most powerful marketing strategy online, and it continues to work over a long period of time. In fact, it's actually the only thing that's actually worked basically the exact same way since the internet first existed, but it actually keeps getting better and easier. However, if you take the same content, you can multiply the traffic you create from the same amount of work by expanding the context in which that content is shared. In other words, a lot of people create content. They create written content, or they create videos, or they create a podcast. They do one thing. However, you can create all of those pieces of content in the same way from one thing just by expanding your system and adding people and processes as you get into profit who follow content syndication and promotion checklists. And that actually will multiply your reach from the same amount of work just by improving a system. The general rule is this: if you're creating content, you're going to have superior reach if you share it in more ways. You can take a video, for example, like this one. You can transcribe it, and then you can turn it into a written blog post. A written blog post will get more reach than just a video. You can also take a written blog post and you could create a mind map. You can outsource that, for example, on Fiverr, or you could create a PDF workbook from the same piece of content. The PDF will get indexed in Google. People will download and share the PDF, and they'll have something on their hard drive with your links in it. You can take the PDF workbook, you can turn it into a podcast. You can take the podcast, you can actually turn it into a podcast site that actually will get indexed in Google and increase your podcast downloads. You can take all those pieces of content and create traffic case studies that you can then use as opt-in pages, and you can retarget traffic to generate leads. These are just some examples. And then you could take any of that and you could sell it as little front-end processes to bring in more customers to your business. In other words, I want you to ask yourself this question, and that's this: how can I take this content and multiply its exposure through increasing networks of people without actually increasing my work? When you think through all your systems like that, your success will begin compounding as you build a better and also a more profitable method of exposure. Strategy number 4. This is to create multilingual expansion systems in your business. Now, this is the thing. Anything that you can do in one single language can actually be done in 5 languages at once. Or it could be done in 20 languages. And just adding language in an internet business model, it opens up new markets if you're doing information marketing, blogging, coaching, online webinars, and things like that. For example, this Daily Shortcut show right now, it's just a content show. However, after the initial optimization of the show process and also the Total Shortcut system funnel that we're in the process of releasing in waves over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some of the things already planned and scheduled, including, for example, a podcast rollout that everybody can make money with, a YouTube show rollout. You're going to see new content networks rolled out from the interaction and gamifying of this entire same process. You're also going to see multilingual expansion that will auto-detect browser language and teach the same things in Spanish, German, Portuguese, and more that will be built into our whole content network. And every time our profits go up, we'll add new show languages and new behavioral responses all the way through that'll translate across every modality. And then you'll see way more than that I'm not going to talk about and probably shouldn't teach for free. But I'm going to take this single show that you're looking at right now. I'll get 1 million people a day watching it through following this strategic optimization and expansion process for the next 24 months using these strategies. And also, I'm going to be rolling out some top secret strategies that we'll teach to members as well to help. And that is going to happen as you pay attention to these episodes, as you follow the continued processes, and as you continue paying attention. In other words, what you're seeing right now is the baby version, and it's kind of taken its first steps in learning to walk. If you watch and pay attention as I continue to make this, I'm going to help you change your life. I'm going to help you change your business while you make money and as you expand your own life and reach at the same time. So what exactly do we do here? Well, what we do with our business is we do the complex things that require growing teams of people and complex systems. In other words, we're giving you complex systems that get more complex for us over time, but it actually gets more simple for you, and your user experience continues to get better, and it maintains and it increases the simplicity, the social friendliness, and the gamified action and the steps that we have you take in order to get results in your own business. You may not know what I just said, and that's okay. Because what we do is we help people by doing all of these things for them, because it tends to wig people's brains out. So they can just follow a simple process to grow daily. They can follow a step-by-step checklist of assignments that we release each day. It takes them less than an hour. And then what they can do is they can improve their sales, they can improve their income, and they can improve their own business at the same time as they're learning, as they're growing, as their business is making more money. In other words, this is a better way to grow your income. Just by paying attention, you're going to learn these strategies. And that's what we do. So right now, participate with us by commenting and sharing this on Facebook. You're going to be able to win prizes just for interacting, and when you put in your name and email in the form below after you comment and share, you're going to be able to download a PDF transcript of today's episode, and also a daily download, a workbook, and a system that you can become a part of, and you can begin the process in your own business of growing with us as you continue making money online, expanding your influence, and keep getting more happy and more rich. So let's take action together and massively multiply your sales and income, and you will understand these concepts with me over the next handful of episodes. Are you ready? Leave me your thoughts in the comments below, and let's lock arms, let's fight the forces of evil, and let's go out and change the world one show and one episode and one assignment at a time. I want you to remember, as you're downloading your daily bonuses, you are an incredible human being, and you do have the power to do great things. And you do have the power to do things that you don't understand. My goal in these episodes is to empower you to build a business while you build a life at the same time, and completely transform the way that all your life operates. And if you keep paying attention, listening, watching, downloading, taking action, you are going to continue to get better results. Right now, put in your name and email below this form of the page, take action, and I'll see you on the next page. And remember, you have the power